by another type of rap, conscious political rap, particularly this group here, Public Enemy. And I remember the first time I bought one of their albums, and I got it home, I undid it, and at the top of the record sleeve it said, "All praise is due to Allah." And I said, who's this Allah that can give me a positive black role model in opposition to the negativity of people like Ice Cube? So I continued reading down the record label, the notes. Further back it said, inspirations, Malcolm X. Started reading down a little bit further, Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. So I said, this Allah must be something to make these men so militant, to make them stand out amongst from the rest who are propagating the gangsterism and the nastyism. So, through looking at what they had to say, I started investigating Islam. Like I said, my journey to Islam is very unprecedented. I didn't have any Muslim friends who came to me one day and said, you know what, let me tell you about Islam. I never had any Muslim friends who told me about Islam. And the only Muslim friends I may have had were more interested in being like me than they was in attracting me to Islam. Here you can see me meeting Professor Griffith, Public Enemy, in 2007. He actually came here to the UK to give a series of lectures on the negativity of hip-hop, and I had the opportunity to meet him. But like I say, brothers and sisters, the one thing that I gained from listening to Public Enemy was listening to this man here, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, Shaheed Malcolm X, Inshallah Ameen. And one of the first things that I did was buy the autobiography of Malcolm X, and I was so struck about the things that he had to say about Islam that I remember I got to a certain chapter where he talks about how Muslims greet each other. And I read it again and again and again because I was so struck by what this man had to say. So eventually, alhamdulillah, I took my shahada. Now, the name of this talk is Escape the Matrix, Drugs, Gangs and Rap. The reason why I picked the title The Matrix, because I think that very film is a very exemplification of the whole hip-hop industry today. Fantasy become reality, reality become fantasy. And there's a particular scene in the film where the character Morpheus says this: the Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. It is the world that's being pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. A prison you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. And I'm talking to you today as a former inmate of that prison. I was on there. I was in there on lockdown 24/7. Until, alhamdulillah, reality came to me. And the key was the Quran. And I opened that door and I escaped. So if you're still trapped in this matrix, it'll have you believe the fantasy is reality. That this man here, President George W. Bush, went to war in Iraq because this nasty man had these weapons of mass destruction. And of course, the war in Iraq has nothing to do with that, and it certainly doesn't have anything to do with that. The red pill or the blue pill? Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, we don't need no pills in Islam. We don't need no red pills, blue pills, green, yellow, orange, pink. We don't need no powders. We don't need no weeds. Because we have the best of distinguishing truth from falsehood, fantasy from reality, and that is the Kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran. The Quran is the best means for you to judge the reality of your surroundings. The Quran is the best and only way that you can successfully navigate through the trials of life. If you stay to this book, you will be successful. If you leave this book, you will be of those who have regret in Yom Qiyamah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Baqarah verse 2, this is a book and in it is guidance. And that's all we need to know, to distinguish where we want to go, how we determine the rest of our life. I want to speak about this man here, Biggie Smalls. A lot of people like to call him the greatest rapper of all time. I call him the greatest fraud of all time. And I want to look at specifically some of the lyrics that this man has mentioned in some of his songs. Because I know me personally, that when I used to go back and listen to some of my songs, it only really struck me, I never actually listened to the words. I could hear the bass, I could hear everything else, but I never really paid attention to the lyrics. And a lot of people are like that. And this just goes to show you what I mean. When I was in Morocco about 9 years ago, I remember I got in a taxi cab and there was a brother and he was listening to Bob Marley. And I said to him, I said, you like it? He said, yes. I said, you understand it? He said, no. But he could understand the B line, he could understand the bass, but he didn't know what anything at all Bob Marley was saying. This is taken from a particular track by Biggie Smalls by the name of Dead Wrong. Hail Mary, full of grace, smack the blank in the face. What Mary do you think that this man is talking about? Is it his mother, his sister, his grandmother, his next door neighbour 2 streets down? When we look at who exactly this man is talking about, then we have to reconsider, how come we as Muslims, how could you even as a Christian listen to the songs of this man? Because this man is talking about a woman that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in his book. This man is talking about a woman that was given a position of status over many of the women of the nations who have set foot on the face of the planet Earth. He's talking about the Virgin Mary. Isa. Isa alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Imran, verse 42, behold, the angel said, O Mary, Allah has chosen you and purified you and chosen you above the women of all nations. So how can you then call yourself a Muslim, but then on the one hand, you may have your Quran sitting next to you on your desk, but on your iPod, you're listening to what my man is saying about the Virgin Mary. May Allah be pleased with her. And this shows you the hypocrisy of this man. Because you know, if you was to say the same thing about his mother, like they say, them is fighting words. He'd be looking to take you outside, he'd be looking to draw a fist on you, foot on you, gun on you, if you said the same thing about his mother. So these rappers are hypocrites. Because they will also speak rude of, ill of everybody else's mother, everybody else's sister, everybody else's daughter, and aunt, but they will never ever let you talk about their own mother like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, woe to every kind of scandal monger and backbiter, who piled up wealth and laid it by, thinking his wealth will make him last forever. By no means he will be sure to be thrown into that which breaks into pieces. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, explain what breaks into pieces. It is Jahannam. So all of the money that Biggie Smalls had, he slandered pious women, a pious woman. This man's recompense, this man's solution, this man's